clients would be like, oh, my hair's a bit thin. And then I'd be like, oh, that's just expensive bubbles. There's nothing essentially in there that's going to help with that problem. It's all about scalp health and hydration. So it's almost like a plant. If you stop watering your plant, then basically your plant will die.
It's so important to talk about because we've been for so long focused on the hair.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're doing it wrong maybe.
Back in the day, we put the treatments on last. And yeah, so it's kind of a new way of thinking. And it's hydration is key to having long, healthy, strong hair.
What's been the biggest misconception people have about scalp health, do you think, and the impact on hair growth?
People having haircuts to help their hair grow. Basically, your hair grows from the root, so cutting it's not going to accelerate the growth.
What are some of the signs that someone's scalp might need extra attention that you see?
Well, usually just all the signs are like dryness, not being able to grow their hair, weak hair that, doesn't feel strong, so hard to colour. And, sometimes it could be itchy.
So why was it so important for you with OiTO to use naturally derived ingredients for the product?
Well, I just think...
Kay, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, here's what I'm thinking, right? You're a hairdresser, or your background is hairdressing.
Yes.
Which is like counsellor, psychologist, all of the things. You've heard it all at this point in time. So I figure that you are absolutely the person we can probably talk about anything with.
Yes.
But we're here to talk about OiTO, which is, for people who've been following along at home, a product that I've fallen in love with thanks to you. But I want to know what inspired you to launch OiTO Haircare, because you'd been in the haircare industry for a long time.
Yeah, so
what was the inspiration behind that?
So I've been in the industry for over 30 years, which is
so you really have
crazy.
Heard lots of things.
Yes.
You've counselled people through a lot of scenarios.
And in that time, I was just watching my clients come in and they were just sort of complaining about their hair and that, they'd kind of like starting to shed hair and the hair was starting to feel like brittle and dry and they couldn't grow their hair. So basically my journey started when I was introduced to Fernando. And he basically taught me all about scalp health and the importance of scalp health, equaling healthy hair.
Which is something that's missing, I think, right?
Yeah,
so Fernando is the trichologist that has helped you formulate this or did formulate it?
Yes.
Yes. And I just think that it's so important to talk about because we've been for so long focused on the hair.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're doing it wrong maybe.
Well,
we're missing something.
Yes, yeah. With his education, it's all about scalp health and hydration. So it's almost like a plant. If you stop watering your plant, then basically your plant will die. So it's similar, like the scalp environment is like the soil and the hair bulb is like the root of the hair. And basically it just needs hydration. So if you keep your scalp hydrated, then all the health starts at the roots.
It's very interesting. I don't know why we don't think about it like this because nothing else is exempt from needing that grows.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But also, I guess maybe it does get dry for lots of reasons. We might be dehydrated as one thing. The scalp itself is dehydrated because we're not nourishing it.
Yes.
Environment.
Environment. Being overworked with certain products, chemical processes. Definitely some of the shampoos are stripping the natural sort of state of the scalp area and the environment. So you really his education was like, it's new to me as a hairdresser as well because we kind of in my 30 years I haven't come across the need for scalp hydration. It's like wash your hair, condition, put a treatment on after you do all of that. And then, but this is kind of a pre-treatment that you pop on and, it ultimately moisturises your scalp and hydrates your hair bulb.
And what I do actually really love is that you're talking about your hair elixirs.
Yeah.
And the ingredients in those are amazing.
Yeah, 100% natural.
Yeah. And really like they do that nourish and help with the hydration.
Yeah, so the avocado oil has vitamin B1, B2, vitamin A, It has essential like fatty acids and just all good stuff that help moisturize and hydrate your scalp and your hair bowl.
It's so great. I know that
Yeah.
that was my personal journey. So it was, I'd always had so much hair and great hair. So
Yes.
I'd never ever had this issue before where, and I think it's something that a lot of women as we get older we face, hormonal changes and whatnot. But a lot of women I think can relate to getting sick, COVID, and then hair shedding.
Yes, I think that's a big part.
I agree, right? And so, but I'd never, ever, ever in my life, I would go to the hairdresser and I would say, can you just do something to thin it out? I don't care what you need to do, but if there's so much hair here, it would be a punish for the hairdresser to dry it.
Yes.
And so never having to worry about it, always being a bit kind of like not taking care of it actually is what I was doing. I would I didn't care if I brush it, if it broke, I didn't care because there was less hair to worry about. But then having the reality of it shedding and then breaking is actually, I took it for granted, didn't I?
Yes. Well, that's what a lot of my clients were finding. So that's kind of what took me on this journey. And, just in doing that and meeting Fernando and his love of essential oils and his knowledge of essential oils and what they do for your hair is incredible. So for me, that was like really exciting. And when I see my clients come in now that are using OiTO, it's like amazing. Like I had someone the other day and she was she went to a hairdresser's and she basically was told by the hairdresser that her hair stopped growing at this length. And she was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, that's just the length your hair grows to. And she was like, well, I actually had long hair as a kid, so I don't understand what you mean. And so she just took that away and just didn't think about it. And now I've been doing her hair now for a little while. And initially when she came to me, she said, look, I can't have blonde in my hair and grow it because it breaks off. And I said, well, okay, well, let's be careful. We can put a few in and, just see how it goes. And then basically she's been on OiTO now for 8 months. And I did her hair the other day and we were laughing at the fact that she was told that her hair stopped here and didn't grow. And I probably, when I started doing her hair, it was kind of at that length. And now she has hair to her waist, like truly. I couldn't get over it the other day when she took her knot out. We've blonded her to the colour that she wants to be. And when she was at the basin and I was washing her hair, the dents, like you could feel the density in her hair. And I was just like, wow, it even just feels like it's fatter. Like it's
I can
thicker.
Actually vouch for that.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting though because my ends are still not there, but the bulk of it up here. So I feel
it's
like
from
I'm
the scalp. Exactly.
I can absolutely relate to what you're saying. That's been my experience. And also what personally had happened is I went through 4 lots of shedding.
Right.
And then 4 lots of, I don't know if this goes hand in hand, but then it would break. So it would shed and then break, shed and then break. So it went from being down here to, shorter than what it was now. So it's just fascinating to me. And I guess we always are learning things and we're always evolving and we know what we know until we know something better, right? But that we've been missing this step of the scalp out for
100%.
ever. But it's just, I can't think of anything that doesn't benefit from hydration.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's something that is very interesting even with how our bodies operate. We operate much better when we're hydrated. So why would our skin be any different?
Exactly. So, the key is hydration, 100% your scalp.
What's been the biggest misconception people have about scalp health, do you think, and the impact on hair growth?
Well, more so just the myths on, like people having haircuts to help their hair grow. Basically, your hair grows from the root, so cutting it's not going to accelerate the growth because you're cutting your tips off, so your hair's looking a lot healthier.
I've said this forever, and people used to say, no, Nat. No, and I'm like, doesn't it make sense?
It makes your hair look healthier because you get rid of all the frayed, split ends.
Yes.
But really, it doesn't accelerate the growth. So it all comes from the scalp, obviously. And there's another myth about, clients always say, oh, if I wash my hair a lot, then I'm obviously creating more oil. And that's another myth because your hair will just make, basically what your body needs. Like your sebaceous glands are going to be what they're going to be.
Right.
So it's not like it's going to accelerate the the
So
oil.
is that also why some people just have more oilier hair in general? It's just their sebaceous glands?
Yeah, it's just your makeup really. It's just genetic. Yeah, so that's another myth that people are like, you wash your hair too much, then it's going to be,
My daughter
really
says
oily.
this to me all the time. You wash your hair too much. I mean, no, I don't. I wash it twice a week. What is the right amount? It's different for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just your lifestyle. Like if you go to the gym, you probably have to wash it more, or if you're, oily. Or some people can go like 2 weeks without washing their hair. That was me
when I was pregnant.
Me.
When I was pregnant, I was like, it got to 11 days and I was like, I just have to wash it because this is now a joke.
Did you have a hat on?
Well, it starts to smell like cornflakes when you leave it for too long, doesn't it?
It smells like a wet dog.
It's awful. And then I always do that to my poor hairdressers. I'm always like, I'm so sorry, it's dirty, but I couldn't justify washing it a day or two before you were going to wash it. So I'll just leave that lovely mess.
That's for you.
That's when they put gloves on. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. But I do think that there are lots of myths when it comes to hair, aren't there? But I love those that you've shared because the cutting part has never made sense to me.
Yeah.
I guess unless it's splitting.
Yeah, well, or if it's
breaking.
super brittle or something, but usually it's,
But again, so what you're saying is that obviously once you can nourish the scalp properly and the hair starts to grow, then you're going to need less cuts to keep the ends
healthy. A lot of clients that are using OiTO are also skipping haircuts because they're like, oh, wow, it's like long. Like I might just keep it. So I'm like, okay, then that's fine.
That used to be when my hair was really long. That used to be me. I'd go in and they go, "Cut today? No, what for?
Yeah,
I don't need to cut it. I want to be like a mermaid.
I've just grown it."
So, can you tell me about the grow range specifically? Because obviously we've already touched on that.
Yeah.
But how does that really specifically address hair and scalp concerns?
So it's a nourishing formulation that in the shampoo it cleanses your hair, removes impurities, without stripping and drying out your hair and your scalp. And then the conditioner is hydrating and can make your hair super soft. And, and then there's obviously the scalp elixir that you start with. And that's the key is the hydration, and that's the initial process. And then you follow through with the thermo, which is a protectant, which is amazing. That's one of my favourite. The thermo is one of my favourite products.
Well, I did see on Instagram where you put the formulation on a piece of toast, and put it in the toaster, and then half the toast is toasted and the other half
Isn't
is
that
like
crazy?
I'm like, oh my gosh, if that doesn't sell anyone.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I used to be I was terrible. I've already admitted that actually, but I only was really introduced to protecting my hair in more recent times.
Right.
But I have to say, when you're using a protectant, then it dries nicer too.
It's shiny.
Yeah. So it's obviously helps with smoothing the hair.
Yeah, it's definitely makes your hair shinier, and it helps with frizz. And just during the day, if you brush your hair, halfway through the day or later that night, the shine that you get's incredible. As well as it protects your hair from UV and hot styling tools. But it's my favourite product. It's something that every client in the salon, after I've washed their hair, they all pre-blow dry.
Yeah, I have to say I was pretty impressed. And the first time I used it, I was washing it with Adelaide water. No offence to anyone in Adelaide, but the water's the worst. It's so hard. Yeah, wow. I was like very, very impressed that it was able to break through that. So why was it so important for you with OiTO to use naturally derived ingredients for the products?
Well, I just think especially with my clients' issues and, with the hair shedding and thinning and a lot of the big brands that I kind of was offering for them or to them and things that I had on the shelf were ideally just kind of expensive bubbles. They didn't have anything that was kind of beneficial in them, so as in ingredients.
They were just ticking boxes more than anything.
So that's where I kind of wanted to go down that path. And I think, with the bottle as well that we, have produced the glass refillable bottle, I kind of just wanted to sort of keep it all on that same sort of tone.
And something that looks nice in the shower maybe.
Yeah, exactly, yes. But yeah, just to sort of keep it, you know, with things in it that actually benefit your hair and as natural as possible.
And aren't harmful to us.
Exactly.
I think we really overlook this. I talk about a lot of this a lot, and I'm still constantly blown away by our lack of education as to what you put on your scalp is going to be absorbed into your bloodstream because it's your skin.
Yes.
So it is important, I think, for lots of reasons that we're looking at this. But I also know that there's a lot of brands that will say that they are, you know, that their ingredients are a certain way. It doesn't even matter in my research. If it says that it's organic, it doesn't necessarily mean it's better. We're looking for cleaner products, which I think is it's hard to find and it's more expensive to create. But at the end of the day, it actually looks after your health.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and it just produces a nicer product. Like if you use all the essential oils that, you know, benefit your hair, and the smell in itself is like amazing.
Showstopper.
Yeah,
walk
totally.
past and someone's like, what's that I can smell? You mentioned, totally. You did mention one client that you've seen a transformation, but the Grow range specifically, I took the 6-week hair challenge.
Yes.
And truly I was like, nah, I'll take it. I'll do it. Like what's going to happen in 6 weeks? And noticed a difference. But what are some of the things that you've seen with your clients in their 6 weeks at least in using the Grow range?
Well, there was another client that came to me, and she had lots of breakage around the front of her hair and around her hairline, and she wanted like foils. I actually looked at it and I didn't know where to start because it was so broken, and just I don't know whether it was from chemical process or just having like weak hair. So I ended up doing the colouring that we could to, you know, get the best result. And then she's been on OiTO now for, I reckon, like 6 months, and her hair has fully like caught up. All the little shorty bits around the face are now, you know, sort of her hair's past her shoulders. It's incredible. So I've noticed a big difference, and she has like can't get over that her hair is long.
Yeah.
So that's I've noticed lots of clients that are coming in because I see them every 6 to 8 weeks. So essentially I can keep an eye on them, and when they like purchase a product, I really keep an eye on them because I'm like I want to, you know, make sure the ones with hormonal thinning around the hairline, you can almost see through the scalp.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really passionate about it, and when I see them come in and I can see a difference in their hair, and just the confidence that they have when their hair is, you know, looking good. And because there's nothing worse than if your hair's thinning. It's like
Stressful.
The scariest.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's really scary.
It is. It's really scary. We see a lot of patients in the clinic for hormone reasons that come in and they've lost hair, especially the top with things like PCOS and hormone imbalances, that they've lost they've lost hair, or even alopecia. And it is scary. Of course it's scary. It's part of who you are.
Yeah.
And like I said, I took mine for granted for way too long.
Yeah, until it happens. Yeah.
Absolutely. But how rewarding for you to be able to at least have something you're offering these women.
Yeah.
And you can watch it before your eyes.
Yeah. So that validates that the product works.
Absolutely. It makes you feel good about it as well.
Yes. Because it's still my industry.
I mean, this is the thing too, though. It is. It's and we're always learning and we're always growing and learning new things, and being, I think, able to adapt to what we're learning is good as well. Be able to bring that in so that people can benefit. What are some of the signs that someone's scalp might need extra attention that you see?
Well, usually just all the signs are like dryness, not being able to grow their hair, weak hair that, you know, doesn't feel strong, so hard to colour, and, you know, sometimes it could be itchy, but usually it's just all the signs of like damaged, weak hair, like hair lacking in something.
So the hair will show you that, right?
Yeah.
But obviously the problem can be at the scalp.
Yes.
So you'll see that.
Well, you just look at, you can just see the hair doesn't look at its best. Yeah, so usually that's a sign, because I think, you know, it all comes once again from the scalp, and if your hair follicle is hydrated, then it's going to show in your hair, because your hair will be stronger.
Yeah, so if it's not the what's, I don't know what the name of that is, where it comes out of
follicle.
your head. Yeah, when the follicle comes out or easily comes out, that's the same. That's sort of the same thing we're talking about.
As in hair fall? Or?
Well, yeah. So I kind of, when I was going through my hair loss, I noticed it felt like I didn't even want to brush my hair because it felt like it's
scared.
so easy to come out, where it's never been like that before.
Yeah, that's,
like it was. Yeah, it's always been very strong in the root.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah. So that's definite like dehydration of your hair follicle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's fixed now, so we're just we're never turning back. What do you think makes OiTO's approach to scalp and hair health unique compared to some of the other brands? I guess we kind of spoke about it, but
yes. So basically, it just goes back to scalp health.
We can just keep talking about scalp all day long.
Equals healthy hair.
But I think you're saying that that's where I guess a lot of brands are missing.
That's how we're different. So like I said, when I was in the salon, especially when I was working back in Sydney, I had my own place and I had all of the, really expensive brands and I'd have them on the shelf and clients would be like, oh, my hair's a bit thin and, and then I'd be like, oh, that's
have
just
a solution.
Expensive, bubbles. There's nothing essentially in there that's going to help with that problem. It will make your hair like clean and shiny and probably smell nice, but really it's
not offering any therapeutic benefit.
Yeah.
And then also, why is it crucial for people to understand that healthy hair begins at the scalp, do you think? I guess it's the same messaging and we need to hear it 15 times over to actually believe something, don't we?
Yeah.
But maybe it's also one of those things that if someone's listening, that they might probably need to start to pay attention to if they haven't been doing it already.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's just like the new process of hair washing and, hair treatments. So, essentially just starting with the scalp elixir and then cleansing and conditioning and, instead of the other way of doing it, like I said, back in the day, we put the treatments on last. And, so it's kind of a new way of thinking. And it's hydration is key to having long, healthy, strong hair.
So the elixirs that you've created are designed to go on the hair before the hair wash. Can you apply that for a longer period of time?
Yes, you can.
What's the recommendation?
Yeah, you can. Some of my clients sleep in it, but it's up to 10 minutes and it's 5 to 7 drops and you just massage it and just
I always put too much every time I get excited.
You have a lot. You have.
I always like, more. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that's probably too much.
Why is it so greasy? Yeah, and I recommend to wash it out, like shampoo it twice.
Always
because
shampoo my hair twice.
Yeah, it does have the avocado oil in it is super hydrating and moisturising, and the jojoba is also full of fatty acids and just super moisturising. And then there's rosemary in it, so that's great for stimulation and scalp circulation, and it does help support hair growth. Yeah, and then there's ylang ylang. That's great for shine. So everything in there has a benefit.
And it all smells good all together.
Yes.
Like when you blend it all together.
There's no fragrance in that.
It's just those oils.
Yes.
Which have been used for all of time, really.
Yes.
I know, what did you say? Rosemary's for hair growth that stimulates the scalp?
Yeah.
I knew that one. I knew that one forever, but I didn't know the others. But the nice thing about it is I think when you blend things together, like if you just use rosemary oil, you probably would smell like a roast.
Yes.
There's a method to the madness. It's like, but it doesn't mean once you kind of obviously shampoo it, then it. I guess if you just decided that you were going to smell like a roast, that would be the solution. Well, thank you so much. I think it's so important that you're having this conversation because I don't see anyone talking about it. And I guess that forevermore you can take some. What's the word I'm looking for? You can feel proud of yourself for leading the charge when it comes to education around this because it's obviously a big missing piece for so many people.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's so great to have Fernando on board and his support and his knowledge behind all the benefits of the ingredients and it's really, really exciting.
It's so exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And, of course, everyone can check out in the show notes where to access OiTO and all of the amazing resources and information.
Thanks, Nat.
Thanks, Kay. Hey there, it's Nat Kringoudis, host of the Wellness Collective podcast. I know how important it is to have a safe space for women's health, and that's why we created NK the Membership, an online sanctuary where you can access expert guidance and support right from home. Get early access to monthly masterclasses, unlimited access to our entire catalogue, and practical resources to achieve hormone harmony. Plus, enjoy a 20% discount on supplements and join my monthly live Q&A sessions. Join our community of like-minded women and wellness experts to revolutionise your health one topic at a time. Visit our website and sign up now. It's legit Netflix for hormones.